Last spring, a gardener in Zone 4 did everything right. She bought the best seeds, built beautiful cedar-raised beds, and mixed in fresh potting soil. By June, half her tomatoes were stunted, and her lettuce had bolted before she harvested a single leaf. The problem wasn't what she planted, it was what she skipped in April. April in northern climates feels like the starting line, but it's actually the strategy room. The decisions you make right now, while frost still lingers on the garden beds and the soil is barely thawing, determine whether you're hauling baskets of ripe tomatoes in August or ripping out yellow, struggling plants wondering where it all went wrong. These are 8 April garden prep tips that separate absolutely stunning gardens from forgettable ones. And number 5 is an old-timer trick that automatically adjusts to your exact yard, and I guarantee you'll want to try it immediately. Number 1. The squeeze test. Before you touch a single garden bed this spring, you need to know if your soil is actually ready. And the answer has nothing to do with the weather forecast. Walk out to your garden. Dig about 6 inches down with a trowel and grab a handful of soil. Squeeze it into a ball, then drop it from waist height. If it shatters and crumbles apart, congratulations. Your soil is workable. Get out there. But if it holds together as a sticky, muddy clod that barely breaks, walk away. Seriously. Come back next week. The University of Minnesota Extension says it plainly. If soil sticks to your shoes or your shovel, it is too wet to work. And the reason this matters so much is that working wet soil creates compaction that can take years to undo. You're essentially squeezing all the air pockets out of the earth, and those air pockets are exactly what plant roots need to grow. Once your soil does pass the squeeze test, work 2 to 4 inches of compost into your annual beds. And here's a trick that experienced northern gardeners swear by. Lay clear plastic sheeting, not black, directly on your beds about 3 weeks before you plan to plant. Clear plastic lets sunlight through and traps heat. Beds under plastic can reach 60 degrees Fahrenheit, while uncovered beds sit in the low 40s. That's 2 to 3 extra weeks of growing season for free. Raised beds warm up and drain 2 to 3 weeks faster than in-ground beds. Skip the tiller, use a broad fork to aerate, and top dress with a couple inches of compost. Number 2. Your zone-specific seed starting calendar. The backbone of successful northern gardening is counting backward from your last frost date. Zone 3. Your last frost lands around late May to early June. Zone 4. Mid-May to early June. Zone 5. Late April through late May. And Zone 6. Mid-April to mid-May. In early April, start these indoors. Tomatoes need 6 to 8 weeks before transplant, so this is the window for zones 4 and 5. Peppers and eggplant need 8 to 10 weeks and love a seedling heat mat set to 85 degrees. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and basil all get 6 to 8 weeks inside under grow lights. For direct sowing, outdoors, zones 5 and 6 can start mid-April, while zones 3 and 4 should wait until late in the month. Plant peas as soon as your soil hits 40 degrees. Spinach germinates at just 35 degrees. Radishes, lettuce, kale, arugula, beets, and Swiss chard can all go in now. For flowers, direct sow sweet peas, poppies, calendula, and bachelor's buttons. They all laugh at a light frost. If you're in zones 3 or 4, variety selection is critical. Choose short-season varieties. Tomato stupus matures in just 60 days compared to 90 for a typical beefsteak. Icebox watermelon finishes in about 80 days. And cold hardy lettuce like Winter Density handles frost without flinching. Number 3. Pre-sprouting your seeds for near-perfect germination. This technique is called chitting, and it is borderline magical if you've never tried it. Line a shallow container with damp paper towels, spread your seeds out on top, seal the container loosely, and keep it at 65 to 70 degrees. In 3 to 4 days, tiny white roots start poking out. Plant immediately with the root pointing down into prepared soil. What this does is eliminate the guesswork. Every seed you plant is already confirmed viable. You're not sitting around for 2 weeks wondering if anything is happening underground. One gardener on a northern growing forum reported going from 98% failure to 98% success with peas after switching to this method. For potatoes, the trick is called green sprouting. Set your seed potatoes in a cool, bright spot for 2 to 4 weeks before planting. They'll develop short, sturdy green sprouts that deliver harvest about 2 weeks earlier. And here's a bonus. If you plant slightly later after green sprouting, you miss the first wave of Colorado potato beetle egg laying entirely. One more quick win. Pick up a bag of legume inoculant for your peas and beans. It costs $3 to $5 and contains rhizobium bacteria that help legumes fix nitrogen from the air into the soil. Sprinkle it in the planting hole with the seed, especially impactful in brand new beds where that bacteria hasn't established yet. Number 4, the $8 tool that changes everything. If you take one thing from this entire video, make it this: buy a soil thermometer. They cost about $8 at any garden center or hardware store, and they eliminate the single biggest mistake northern gardeners make, which is planting based on air temperature instead of soil temperature. Here's why this matters. A sunny 65-degree April afternoon feels like gardening weather. But stick a thermometer 2 to 4 inches into that soil and it might read 42 degrees. Plant your tomatoes in 42-degree soil and they will sit there, sulking, refusing to grow, slowly rotting at the roots. Peas planted in 50-degree soil take 2 full weeks to emerge. The same peas in 77-degree soil pop up in 6 days. The magic numbers are these: 40 degrees Fahrenheit for peas and spinach, 45 for lettuce, beets, and carrots, 50 for beans and corn, and 60 degrees for tomatoes, peppers, squash, and cucumbers. Don't plant below these thresholds, period. The other thing a soil thermometer reveals is kind of wild. Temperature varies dramatically within a single yard. The bed against your south-facing brick wall might run 10 to 15 degrees warmer than the shaded bed on the north side of your house. Check multiple spots in the morning when soil is coolest, and you'll start to see your garden's hidden microclimates. That knowledge lets you plant warm season crops weeks earlier in the right spots. Number 5. The phenological clock. This is the old-timer secret I promised you, and it's honestly one of the coolest things I've ever learned about gardening. Instead of looking at a calendar to decide when to plant, you watch the plants that are already growing around you. They've been tracking soil temperature, day length, and moisture levels all winter long, and they tell you exactly when conditions are right. Here's how it works. When forsythia bushes burst into bright yellow bloom in your neighborhood, plant your peas and cold-hardy greens. When lilac shrubs push out their first leaves, put in your lettuce, carrots, and beets. When those same lilacs hit full bloom, with the purple flowers wide open and fragrant, it's safe for beans and squash. And when apple trees bloom with those white and pink blossoms, plant your corn. The beauty of this system is that it automatically adjusts for your exact microclimate every single year. If spring comes late, the forsythia blooms late, and your planting schedule shifts with it. No frost date charts needed. Nature does the math. Gardeners have used this for centuries, and it still beats a calendar. If you're finding this helpful, hit subscribe. I cover seasonal gardening tips and tricks every week so you never miss a planting window. Now let's talk about something that catches people off guard every single spring. Number 6. Pest prevention starts before pests arrive. Here's a mistake I see constantly. Gardeners wait until they spot holes in their leaves to think about pest control. By then, you're already playing catch-up. April is when the real pest management happens, and it's almost entirely about prevention. The single best investment is floating row cover. This lightweight fabric, sold under brand names like Agribon and Remay, does 3 jobs at once. It provides 2 to 6 degrees of frost protection on cold nights. It acts as a physical barrier against flea beetles, cabbage moths, and cucumber beetles. And it reduces wind stress on fresh transplants. Drape it over simple wire hoops and you've created a mini greenhouse that protects crops well into May. For cutworms, those sneaky caterpillars that chew through seedling stems overnight, place a small twig snugly against each seedling stem at soil level. It interrupts the cutworm's ability to wrap around and sever the plant. Cardboard collars pushed into the soil work too. Slugs are the #1 pest in northern home gardens, and copper tape around raised bed edges creates a mild electrical charge on contact with their slime. Iron phosphate bait, sold as Sluggo, is safe around pets and kids. And here's a surprising one. If you see early aphids, resist the urge to spray. Those first aphids are the dinner bell that attracts ladybugs and lacewings to your garden for the entire season. Lacewings are reportedly around 10 times more effective than ladybugs at pest control, and they'll stick around all summer if you let them establish. Number 7. Set up your irrigation now while beds are empty. April, before anything is planted and growing, is the perfect time to lay drip lines and connect hoses because you can actually see what you're doing and access every inch of bed without stepping on plants. Drip irrigation pays off fast for any garden with 3 or more beds. The critical component that gets skipped constantly is a pressure regulator set to 20 to 25 psi. Without it, standard household water pressure blows out the quarter-inch drip lines within weeks. For a typical 4 by 8 foot raised bed, run drip lines 9 to 12 inches apart. Total cost runs $30 to $180 depending on garden size, and installation takes half a day. If you prefer soaker hoses, know this: they have a hard 25-foot maximum effective run. Beyond that, water distribution becomes wildly uneven. This is the #1 reason people get frustrated with them. Water in the morning between 6 and 10 a.m. to reduce evaporation and let foliage dry before evening. Water deeply and less frequently to push roots downward. One more spring-specific tip. Your tap water is still cold from underground pipes. Running icy water directly onto warming soil sets back your temperature gains. Fill large, dark-colored buckets and let them warm in the sun before watering transplants. Number 8. The 2026 varieties and trends you need to know about. Every year brings new options for the garden, but 2026 has a few that are genuinely worth getting excited about. The All-America Selections winners this year include a standout for northern growers. Tomato Bada Bing F1 is a large cherry and cocktail-type tomato with built-in resistance to Septoria leaf spot, early blight, and late blight. If you've ever watched your tomato plants turn brown and collapse in August, that triple resistance is a legitimate breakthrough. Kale Rubibor F1 won dual gold medals in both ornamental and edible trials. Deep purple leaves, compact growth, exceptionally tender and non-bitter flavor. It looks stunning in a flower border and tastes great in a salad. That kind of dual-purpose plant is exactly what the 2026 Maximalist Garden Trend is all about. Dense, layered plantings with mixed textures and heights. It's not just pretty. Denser gardens mean less bare soil, less water evaporation, and less weeding. Biochar is getting attention as a soil amendment, but it comes with a critical warning. Uncharged biochar acts like an empty sponge, actually pulling nutrients out of your soil and starving plants. You have to charge it first by mixing it 50-50 with compost and letting it sit for at least 2 weeks. Then it works beautifully. No-dig gardening has gone mainstream. The University of Minnesota Extension now endorses it for heavy clay soils, noting fewer weeds and better moisture retention. Instead of tilling and destroying fungal networks, you simply layer compost on top. Less work, better results. And one last heads up. The Missouri Botanical Garden is warning about AI-generated plant scams flooding social media. Fake seeds sold with computer-generated images of impossible plants like blue celosias or rainbow roses. If it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Stick to reputable seed companies. Now here's the bottom line. The gardeners who grow stunning food and flowers in northern climates aren't doing anything mysterious. They test before they plant. They pre-sprout instead of hoping. They watch the forsythia instead of the calendar. and they set up systems in April that pay off every week for the rest of the season. 6 months from now, when you're pulling ripe tomatoes off the vine while your neighbor is troubleshooting yellow leaves, you'll know exactly which month made the difference. It was this one. Get out there.